Shinshiv, it's Misha Gillispik Machgerigish. I'm Gillispik Ferguson, your Scottish Gaelic speech coach, here to help you speak Gaelic like a native. Now, if you've seen my little parody short with Liam Neeson, talking to his Auntie Mabel, I think, you'll know that I have a bit of a bee in my bonnet about this word. And so I wanted to have a look just now at this phrase, which means, where do you live? Which, of course, comes up early on in many language courses, including Gaelic. And what I've noticed in books and online and on YouTube is that you will often see it accompanied by this. And I have to confess that that makes my heart sink. Because, as you can see, it's a couple of English words chucked together and a bit of gobbledygook at the end. Catch, a bheil, a fuireach. And what I have to say is that it really doesn't work. And you can learn Gaelic this way, of course. And the great thing is it's quick. You can learn to say that in 10 seconds. But what I have to tell you is that you've probably got a 20 to 30% chance of being understood by a Gaelic speaker out in the Hebrides if you were to ask the question like this. And I would also say that you'd probably have a 90% chance of getting a reply in English. So, what I'm suggesting is that we take a chance to look at it in more detail and look at how the Gaelic sounds differ entirely from English. So let's look at the first word first, which is Càite. Now, I must stress that every part of this word is different from English, from the English word catch, which I hear all the time. And you might say, well, the C is the same, isn't it? Well, not quite. Because in a sense, Gaelic really has a bit more energy behind it. So even if you listen to the two words, catch, Càite, there's more kind of oomph behind that C. And as you can, everything else is different too. We have the long open A vowel, Càite, Càite. And then, of course, you'll say, well, the bit at the end, that is just like an English ch, isn't it? New. Sorry. And I'm going to show you very carefully the difference. So, if I say catch, look at my mouth, catch. You can see my teeth kind of coming close together. Now, listen to the Gaelic word. Càite. Tia. Tia. It's a softer, more delicate sound than English. And it is the slender T, because the I is there basically bossing the consonant T around and telling it what sound to make in this context. And it's a T sound. This is our soft T. Our slender T, we can call it as well. T. And it's a soft, kind of slender sound. Càite. Càite. And your tongue is just behind your front teeth. Not too much pressure. T. T. So there we go. Two different words. Catch and Càite. Now we'll put the verb form, present tense verb form after it. Now, we have the English word bheil. It's like a new thing at a wedding, isn't it? Catch a bheil. Like the bride chucking the posy behind her. And now I'm going to throw my bheil. So, catch a bheil. Here we go. Oh. I don't know what you get for catching a bheil. Maybe you win a shower curtain or something. But anyway, doesn't mean anything. But the actual Gaelic word is not bheil, it's bheil. Bheil. So even here that V, we compare the BH to a V in English, but listen to the difference. Bheil, 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 bheil. It's got more oomph behind it when we're practicing it deliberately like this. And now we can actually make a question already if we add the pronoun, which we call u. But I want to show you here how you must practice it. Càite bheilú. Càite bheil. Listen to how short and unstressed the pronoun is. It's oo. Ooh. Like a monkey. Ooh. So we've got a question already. So we've got two questions here. We can say, where are you? Càite bheil. And now we add the word at the end, the verbal noun, staying or residing. A fuireach. A fuireach. Few tricky things going on here. We've got the oo vowel, which is an oo sound. We're tempted to pronounce it fuireach in Gaelic, but it's an oo sound. It's very, very short. Very, very short vowel. And then we have what we call a slender R, which lots of you have asked about in the comments. And I'm going to show you very quickly how to make it, because it sounds tricky, but we can model it on an English sound. The TH in the word the. The. That's the position. When at the very beginning of that word, the. And what you need to do to make it a Gaelic sound is to make it very short. It's starting to sound like a beatboxer. That's the sound. Obviously, you can practice it in isolation just for a laugh, but when we add that very short sound, we get fuireach. Fuireach. And of course, we have the fricative CH, what we call broad CH, because the A is dictating to that CH. This is the sound you will make. Ch. Okay. Fuireach. Fuireach. Now, that word will need a lot of practice. You can practice it on its own. And I'm going to talk about that. I'll talk about a little bit about that later. The practice of these things. But now listen to the difference between what we're presented with using English phonology, Càite bheil u a fuireach, and Càite bheil u fuireach. Càite bheil u fuireach. Notice a few things too in terms of the way that the A apostrophe is blended out by the vowel of the pronoun u. This happens all the time, and we need to be aware of this. So I don't want Càite bheil u a fuireach, because that's like a bump in the road. We get rid of those if we can in Gaelic. Listen again. Càite bheil u fuireach. Now here we've got something different. It's totally different in sound. It's got a more dynamic kind of quality to it, with a long vowel and then a short one. Càite bheil u fuireach. It's an actually question that somebody's actually going to listen to. And so this is why it's really worth learning these sounds like this. Because it's more effort, but you've got something that's actually different when you're finished practicing. And I'll say a lot more about this in a video about actual learning practice. But I want you to practice it with some energy. Because I hear people, especially when they're shy and they're not sure, and it sounds like they're about to get their last meal. And Càite bheil u a fuireach. Càite bheil u a fuireach. Càite bheil u fuireach. And they're doing their best, but it's so sad and dreary. And we don't need to do that, especially when you're on your own. You need to build up some confidence. And this is what I want you to do. Càite bheil u fuireach. And by doing this, rather than being daunted by learning new sounds, I want you to get excited about learning these and thinking, wow, that is so different from English. And it's something that anybody can practice if they're shown and they get a demonstration of what to do. So I want you to get excited about practicing this deliberately. And if you can, getting good feedback from a native speaker or a really, really competent learner. And you might be asking yourself, why do I go to this bother? Why can't I just say Càite bheil u a fuireach? Well, I've already explained that the chances of you being understood are 50-50 at best, let's say. But the other thing is, if you were to go to a Hebridean village somewhere, and you're thinking, I'm going to try out my Gaelic. There's a lady here, and I'm going to ask her where she lives. Hey, hello, Càite bheil u a fuireach. And she'll give you a look like this. What was that, dear? Are you asking where I live? It's good for you trying some Gaelic. Well, I live in that little house over there by the loch. with the chickens running around outside. And that's it. That is what will happen, more than likely. Because those English sounds do not resonate with the person you're speaking to. But if you were to say, hello, now we could actually use the polite form here, if it's somebody older, and say, Càite bheil fuireach. Let's try that. Hello, Càite bheil fuireach. And then you might get a different answer. Oh, heb me fuireach an san taimhig a shit ritu locha. Fan bheil na cercan na spócail ma gúir se mui. And all of a sudden, you've had an exchange in Gaelic. And you can remember what was said. Maybe you can say a few other things. But even if you just have that, and you can actually absorb what was said, and you can go back and think, wait, what was it she said? Ha mé a fuireach an san taimhig sin ritu locha. I guess cercan mui. And you will, that is how, one example, obviously we can't all go on holiday to North Uist or wherever, but you can do that with people who speak Gaelic and start to acquire the language. So I want you to think of that as an exciting thing to do. And like I say, you can learn it with English phonology, and it's quick and it's easy. It's a bit like, like if your timing belt breaks in your car, you could just quickly replace it with a pair of your granny's tights. And it's really quick and it's simple. And that's it done. Job done. Is the car going to run? Maybe not. But I want you to see this as worthwhile. And I will shortly be releasing my first video in a series entitled The 3 Keys to Scottish Gaelic Speech. And as I've said before, if you have these in the forefront of your mind when you are learning, along with some of the principles I've outlined just now, then you will be able to move on very quickly from simple questions like Càite bheil fuireach to much more complex, interesting and dynamic sentences in Gaelic. See, I can't speak English very well, but you will be able to speak Gaelic so much more fluently and interestingly, and it will be a much more rewarding experience. And the extra work that you put in will be so worthwhile. So that's my overall message. Hopefully I will be releasing this video in the next several days, and you can have a look at that. Key number 1 to Scottish Gaelic speech. Let me know what you think in the comments. If this kind of thing is resonating with you, subscribe to my channel. I am a bit of a Luddite when it comes to making videos. So I'm a bit slow at the moment, so apologies for that. But I am getting better, and I'm getting my head round editing these and managing my time so I can get them out. So let me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you very soon. Mar sin live and rasta.